my expectations going in was, surprise me sort of thing. So I had a very like sort of clean slate going into it. Yeah.
I really wondered if, in particular, technical people who tend to be sort of, they can be linear, and focus on solving the problem as opposed to opening up and thinking about possibility. I wondered, how much struggle there would be around that.
So two things. I was curious about what kind of results we'll be able to get out of the weekend, and I was intimidated because like I said, I'm kind of a floater in between being a project manager or consultant, or more of a strategist rather than a full-blown practitioner like Isa from Gawa Kalinga, for example. So meeting up with them after reading about them, change we can give, I was excited, but I was more intimidated. But I'm kind of glad I'm a part of it now.
If I did have any expectations, it was just meeting amazing NGO leaders from the region.
First of all, although I knew about the word rapid and prototyping, I had never experienced anything like it. So I generally came in with very little expectation, except I think because of the experience with TechSoup and you guys. The only thing that I was telling Luis that I was so excited to meet other people in the network and to just begin to see that network grow and hopefully bring value into it through GK.
Well, I thought that there was a really amazing group of people coming in, so I was sure that some really cool projects would come out of it, and that's definitely been the case.
I guess one of the things that we were doing in the past was thinking that we have to solve a lot of problems ourselves. But I guess one of the things that changed right now is that I realized that a lot of people are doing different parts of the puzzle that kind of contributes to the overall picture they're trying to achieve. So definitely we're going to be a little bit more collaborative in terms of how we move forward.
One thing is very, very clear. I've seen the power of collaboration, the power of whiteboarding and brainstorming ideas. I think this collaborative experience enriches a simple idea, basically, and that is something I hope to replicate. The moment I go back, I've already mentioned it to my colleagues through email already, and surprisingly enough, we might be doing something similar within this week itself. Yeah.
The whole prototyping thing, the discussing. There's something we never really did as much in the past. We had a lot of discussions, a lot of planning, but I think to have it this way, where over a weekend or a holiday, you get people together, come up with some ideas and how to move forward. I think that's definitely one thing I'm going to do different, and also more importantly is the fact that seeing the strength and the power and the energy of having multi-stakeholder partners together is something that really excites me, and something that I believe has great potential, and that's something new I want to embark upon. Really work with multi-stakeholders and not just have partners.
Okay, so the first one was very interesting discussion with Cal on the location-based volunteering. So good, I think good that we didn't choose it as one of the topics because both groups had already done a lot of work. But I think there's so much power in being able to integrate the projects that they have and we have. And so maybe even if the platforms won't converge, but to be able to view each other's projects, and for Malaysia to see what they can do in the Philippines and vice versa for us, and to have our both networks see each other's projects. I think there's great power to it. The second was it kind of revived my passion for disaster, especially because while we were here, there was also huge floods in Manila. And I was getting a lot of messages from friends, and it just reminded me that although that's something that we've kind of put on the side, this project that we have on the SMS is actually very doable, and I love that we didn't think about it. I love that we were doing the whole loop after that, but before that. So this together, I think that old idea and this new one is extremely feasible, and I'm going to try to build it into the proposals that we're doing for the networks.
I've been thinking a lot about and discussing with people a lot about the observation part of the process, right? And so normally during weekends it's very difficult to fit that in, and so this weekend is actually, now that I'm doing it more as a participant rather than as an organizer, is triggered thinking about how can we How can we make, so we brought in, for example, the expert panel, right? And that is one of the things that makes this weekend more than a workshop. It is, because the workshop is a box, right? The walls here are permeable when we start bringing in expertise from outside to give feedback. So I think we want to do more of that, and we want to help sort of the groups observe the problems that they're working on during the weekends. Yeah, I think those are like the things that we're thinking about this weekend.
How do we maintain this momentum of whatever that we've concluded or got excited about throughout the next few months or the next year?
What really excites me is meeting people from different countries, and then sharing ideas and being able to help everyone, and getting involved to other movements, and if they have questions, I might be able to help them, and if I need help also, I think this can be a group of people who can share their ideas and their knowledge of their skills also.
The most exciting thing is that I got many different organizations from many different countries, and they have very valuable experience. And this is the TechSoup Global or TechSoup Asia giving that opportunity.
I mean, the network itself, and that's the most exciting thing. You've got great partners all over the world. You have great offerings, great services, and I don't really think any other organization I'm aware of packages it or has it all in one place. And the fact is that I think the TechSoup Global Network, at least the TechSoup Asia Network, is very, very dynamic. Yes, TechSoup is a very big organization, it's well established, but yet it doesn't work like a bureaucratic, slow process. Everything has to go through hierarchy. It's very dynamic, it's very focused, it's very driven, and it makes things happen, so that's really what excites me, that even though it's a very big platform, yet it's very dynamic, so yeah.
Well, I think that TechSoup is working on some really interesting projects, and that ability to gain global reach, or to at least bring a lot of different players together, is really, really important. I mean, I think that specifically in the case of this weekend, the quality of our output wouldn't have been nearly what it was if it weren't for the fact that we had group members who were super experienced doing the work that they do, and sort of could give a lot of real world feedback immediately. In some cases more than the expert panel actually could, on the specific issues that we were working on. But at the same time, weren't coming to the table saying with a predefined solution, right? So I think that the ability to bring that kind of either talent or expertise, and the ability to create things that affect more than one country are really exciting.
It's not one of the questions here, but I'll say one of the great surprises was the quality of the people engaged in the workshop and how willing and trusting. I think it says a lot about TechSoup and Glenn and your work, that even though they had a lot of questions, they set that aside and really jumped into the work, which was great.
That one is about the community. I think it's TechSoup is have the network of the people who working with the technology for the society, and that one is not just about in the regional context, like in Asia, but new technology from from USA, from another side of the world, and sharing with the success case that technology have been implemented in any part of the world.
I think more than anything, it's being able to reach out to more nonprofits in the Philippines. That's really it's one of my greater concerns, because we know so many great ones that just didn't have it as lucky as we did. And I think we owe it to us, and we owe it to the poor that we serve, and we owe it to our country to really be able to reach out to them and somehow help. And that's something that hasn't opened up for us. But now with TechSoup, and I love that it's through technology, it's a very non-traditional way for GK to reach out. But I think if we're able to do that, it's pioneering in so many ways. And I really hope that the TechSoup and GK partnership can bring both organizations to a whole new level in terms of serving the nonprofits, especially in the Philippines. And the second one that I loved was just seeing the network of TechSoup in other countries, and to just open your mind to other ideas. What Raj is doing is amazing. It really is. I have great respect for it.
As a former educator, I was aware of TechSoup's work back in the 90s, and it's clear to me you're a really different organization doing very different work that I find really exciting. And so I think you're asking pretty interesting questions in Asia, and having both lived here and the US, I think Asia is a great region to experiment and explore sort of what TechSoup's future offerings might be.